All right, so let's talk a bit about the Penguin, right? Or I should say the season premiere of the Penguin, right? So if you don't mind, I'll do the synopsis for this, right? Well, I'll do
Sure.
preamble and the synopsis, right? So yes, this is the official follow up to 2022's The Batman, which was one of my favorite
Okay.
movies of 2022. Absolutely love that film. And just what it was able to do with the whole detective, like finally giving us a detective Batman.
Right. Even though he kind of dumb, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, year two, right? He's year two Batman, right? Um, Finding ways to incorporate Carmine Falcone, Penguin, Catwoman, Riddler, and Joker, for those who, sorry for the spoiler, yeah, into this one movie though, and somehow it worked. Like it just worked, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't think, honestly, I did not think that we were gonna get a Penguin series. But you were just sort of hearing it through the grapevine. Oh, we want to do it because people enjoy Colin Farrell's performance in that, right? And yes, Colin Farrell.
Right. Yeah. He was one of the standouts of that movie. Yeah.
Yeah, and I would say the same thing with this boy is the makeup boy. The man is lost
Yeah.
in this character boy. You don't see Colin. Maybe you might like if you kind of watch the head a little bit, you might see it, but nah, like he is Penguin. Like when you put on a makeup boy, you don't see him at all, right? But yeah, so this show takes place 1 week after the end of Batman, right? That's where Riddler launched the attack, and it involved almost flooding out Gotham City, or just a specific
Right.
area of Gotham City, and Batman came and saved the day and whatnot. But yeah, even though like the way how they do it is very atypical. It's very typical, but it's like that's the only way you could. That's a really smart way you could do it. Through news reports, right? It's just like, oh, 1 week after this, yeah, crime has raised
Right.
up in this certain
Yeah. They
area.
do a quick montage here.
Right, exactly. In this certain spot, because people out of jobs and whatnot, right? They set up this thing about this new like drug, right, called drops, right? So it's literal eye drops, but
Right.
it's I think it's like hallucinogenic
Yeah.
drugs. Or
I think it was set up in the Batman. I think this was set up in the Batman. I think so.
I think I can't remember.
Okay.
Because honestly, last time I saw that was year end in 2022, right? So sorry, I did not get the time to recap this, right? Nor did I feel the need to, because one thing I really like about this show is that you don't need to
Right.
remember what happened in the first film, to be honest, right? Just need to remember
Yeah.
key figures, right? So Carmine, who I'll bring up in a bit, right? But yeah, and also on the subject of that eye drop thing, I swear, like just me theorizing, right? I feel like that's a reference to Scarecrow, and his oh gosh,
Right.
the
Right.
fear dust thing that he had in Batman Begins. Like,
Yeah.
I feel
The fear gas. Yeah.
fear gas. Like I feel that's like they're gonna connect that probably to Scarecrow in some way.
Well, yeah, I
don't
mean, Scarecrow is one of the characters who you could kind of pull off if you're doing our quote, because this universe is trying to be about as grounded as say as the Nolan material. So, he is the one character you can kind of pull off that with, if anything. It's got Penguin. Penguin makes sense, and he makes sense, and I doubt you could like pull off a Mister Freeze, or, Bane maybe, and then all the other grounded guys, but that's about it. So yeah, I do think so. That's a possibility as well. Once you start to hear hallucinogenic stuff, it's like, all right, they're gonna bring in Scarecrow. I feel they're gonna bring in Scarecrow at some point.
Yeah, and it would be the perfect opportunity to do so anyway. Perfect atmosphere, if you will, right? So anyway, what this season premiere is about now, it's
Right.
on the Penguin, right? Oswald, or Oz, as they call him, Cub, right? Yeah, former lieutenant of Carmine, because,
Yeah,
Carmine got killed because of the whole riddle that the Riddler did, right?
Right.
The whole with the street lighting, blah, 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 right? If you saw the show, you'll know what I talk about, right? So yeah, his son shows up. Well, oh gosh, I forget his, right,
Right.
Alberto, right? Yeah, he show up and he's like, you know what? Yeah, he gonna be running the operation now. He gonna be bringing in more of those drops things, so this could be big. Well, at least Oswald seeing the potential of it, right? And then we have this great conversation scene where they're talking about legacy and all that stuff, right? And a slight spoiler, right? Well, kind of slight, but kind of big as well too. And you're there kind of, you know in the back of your mind, Oswald want to run the empire, right? Because he had big dreams like that, right? But I didn't think that he would have gone about it, or at least made the first step in the way he did at that time. And but when he did that, I legit clap at that
Right.
shit. I was like, I fucks with that hard. We're not waiting. We're not taking no. We're not waiting till halfway to the show to do that. The man was pissed. He did what he had to do. That's gangster shit. That is gangster shit. That's all I had to say. Don't spoil anything, right? But that kicks off his path towards becoming pretty much the kingpin of Gotham City, right? So through some circumstances, he runs into this kid who was trying to steal the car. And he's like, you know what? I see some potential in you, kid. You know what I mean? Oh gosh, was he Jay-Z song, Jay-Z and Memphis, Coming of Age? Is very coming of age kind of in a way.
Right.
You know,
Right.
he sees
Right.
young kids like, I see you, you know what I mean? So yeah, he literally bring him on this wing, kind of show him how, you know, how his psyche works, how his will works, right? And yeah, especially with a guy like him, and especially what happened, I love how they set it up visually with the leg brace he has, because yeah, if you remember, he was in a little high speed chase with a Batmobile, and he can't flip over, right? So that's why he waddles, right? You know, like a penguin, right? Which I thought was a very, very smart call now, like just having him kind of jokingly walk that way. But if you remember from the first film, it's like, oh, that's why, right? But then, you know, in real gangster style is like, you know what, is a injury that I have, right? You know, so I look like, oh, you could talk down to me because I can't walk properly, but nah, I could still fuck you up, Dread. Like, that's how he does move, right? So yeah, you kind of see his world through his eyes, basically. But what's going on while all this is going on too, while the kid is seeing Penguin's world, is, yeah, you know, Alberto's sister, right, shows up, right, Sophia.
Right.
Yeah, big character.
Yeah.
You could the hangman now, and she's like,
she's a big, right? She's a real important character in the law.
yes.
She's a real important figure in Long Halloween, right? So
Right,
bringing
that's
her
what
in
she's
this makes sense, because that was like a Long Halloween movie. So it's like, all right, cool.
Yes, yes. I was trying to remember.
I'm glad that they brought her in.
I was trying to remember where her character was from. Right, so thanks for reminding me. Yeah, so she kind of well, just to wrap things up. Yeah, she kind of make out as well. It's like, yeah, you know what happened to my brother, right? You have something to do with that, right? So I gotta come for you, right? But at the same time now, Oswald hatches his plan, a really great plan, right? So he actually meets with Maroni, right? Who, you know, so the Falcones and Maronis were like rivals, right? So he meets with the head of that, and he's like in jail right now, right? He's like, yeah, I wanna help all your run all the business, and I'm not gonna spoil what happens there, right? But basically, he's pretty much setting up this feud now between both families. By the end of the day, he just wants to be the one who ends up on top, the one who rules Gotham City, especially what happened with the events after Batman. I'll stop there. So yeah, all right. So I'll just share my thoughts quickly, right, and then I'll move on, right, and then we'll get to your thoughts. I kind of loved this premiere. I thought this was excellent, right? And for me, what will make it work, just quite simply, just right off the just off the page, right, is it capitalized on the
Selma. It's about bus trip.
Yep. Oh yes. There's a bus scene. That's all we'll say without spoiling. There's a bus scene. I crack up at that. That was funny, right? But yeah, it capitalized on the it's like Sopranos, but it's the Penguin. They capitalized on that very well. Because,
that's the thing with it. I thought it would have been. I was worried this was going to be like a Gotham. You know, Gotham
like that. Yeah.
All of this drama. Look, I could not listen. I know it have Gotham fans out there, but I just could not get into Gotham, because Gotham just did not work for me.
I bared with it for about 3-4 seasons, but like, okay, this kind of really not going anywhere.
And it have a simple. There's a very simple problem with Gotham for me, is that, well, if you have no Batman, none of these characters that interesting.
That's true.
Like, to me, the whole point is to bounce off a Batman. This, well, it kind of bounces off a Batman, right? Batman isn't really present in any of this, but what they do is say, okay, you know, in the context of the Batman, what are you going to do with it? And even though he's not that important of a figure in the world, not yet at least, they do the world building just enough. And again, they just make it as serious as you can do it. You know, again, it's like The Sopranos. It's enough of a mob drama for you to kind of care. But it is a little distant, and I'll admit that, you know, if this was the DC universe, I would have probably not be super into it. But it doesn't get as bad as Gotham. It's just good enough. Colin Farrell, because he has such great presence in this, that works. But yeah, I was really worried that it's going to be a Gotham situation.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's that.
And about that, it's a good thing that you bring up Gotham, right? Because I really do like how this show it like I felt Gotham just felt way too edgelordy. Like I was like, okay, like the atmosphere of it, the dark tone of it worked, but I just felt like it was just leaning towards like real edgelordy stuff.
Right.
Like, okay, like I wanna be dark, but it's still a
To
TVPG
me, it just
show,
felt
you
like
know?
it just felt like Dick Wolf. I don't know. It felt like Dick Wolf trying to write DC Comics. That's what it felt like. It was just I just always thought Gotham was kind of terrible.
Yeah, so I like how at least
Right.
the dark grim world of Gotham feels earned. It feels lived in, it feels real. Like while
Yeah.
Gotham just felt like a pastiche of, oh, you know, different Batman cartoons and stories. It just felt like that. This one feels like
Right.
a real world, right? You know, similar to the Batman and similar like the Batman the Dark Knight trilogy as well, right? But yeah though, Colin Farrell though killed it as Oswald though. He killed it. He does remind me of a Tony Soprano, where it's like, yeah, you know, he will play by the rules, but the end it's all about getting ahead. It's all about making that money. It's all about being powerful and feeling powerful as well. But yeah, if it come down to me gunning you down, Dread, to make a point, I will do that. You know, don't feel because I, you know, large, don't mean and I laugh and I make little dumb jokes. I ain't gonna get serious. No, I ain't gonna get my hands dirty. He is that type. He is like Tony Soprano, right? And I feel like that moment with Oswald meeting his mom, which was a nice little, oh, it's like the Penguin character, but also like Tony Soprano in a sense. That worked as well. Like I felt like the way how his mom was portrayed was very much like Tony's mother, right? Even right down to her being a little
Yeah.
scared when she see the kid, because the kid is black now. And if you're familiar with the Sopranos, this is kind of funny, especially me, us as Trinidadians. Yeah, she had a Trini caregiver dread. And she like rather than used to like she used to think that she was stealing from her and all that kind of stuff. Like she just never liked that woman head at all, right? That was like a nice little joke in The Sopranos, right? So yes, it does feel like it, but it also feels like the Batman, but in a darker way, right? You know, just more violent, more more explicit with the language and stuff like that, right? But this again,
Right.
just the way how we see the world through Oswald. I like how you have this kid who is seeing it, right? At first, I wasn't sure if the kid was going to be there for the whole episode, but I like that there's a moment earlier on where he's like, yeah, I had to kill you, because you kind of see enough, so I had to take you out. But the kid's like, no, 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 don't kill me. Like, I promise I'll help you out, right? So I am curious to see how things play out from there. And I like that. It plays against, cliche, like, oh, I'm going to trust you because, there's something about you. It's like, no, like, dog, in this world, you gotta watch your back. That's how it is, right? Yeah, at the end of the day, yeah, I am really enjoying this. I really enjoyed the series premiere here. I
Yeah.
like that it just tapped into the crime drama vibe of things, though, and just gave us a great character portrait with Penguin, right? A very fascinating character, right? You like him, you loathe him, but that's kind of the point, right? I like that it does kind of harken back to the Penguin that we know, at least we identify, right? But yeah, I mean, Colin Farrell just steals it, just steals every scene he's in, basically. And yeah, I mean, I just can't wait to see what we get next with these other episodes. So yeah, your thoughts on this series premiere? Your
Yeah.
thoughts on the series premiere?
Yeah, no, solid start. I just dug the hell out of it. I didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I did. I was like, yeah, they know what they're doing with respect to this. I really thought, because hearing bad news about it. But I was like, no, it actually pretty good, and I dug it for what it is. It solid start. Just one episode, but all the characters are so far enjoying. And again, mostly Colin Farrell and the girl, Falcone daughter. Now, the two of them is really really hold it for me. It's actually a really interesting beat. All things considered. So the only issue is that it just so normalized that I'm not like interested in it, because like you had to do something with the DC universe to make me engage, in some way, something fantastical to pull me in, and not bullshit like Gotham, right? But so I really want to see what they're gonna do there. Other than that, but they get that normalized aspect of it really well. So I digging it for what it is.
Yeah, and one more thing. We don't exactly get a title sequence though, which is fine, but the end title sequence, right? I thought looked fantastic though. That's the way how it looks. Very neo-noirish painting kind of styles where, you know, I forgot the style of it, but where like a painting will like morph into something else and something else, but it kind of reflects the character, reflects the city and whatnot. Yeah, that should look great though, in my opinion. And just a lot of details in that one sequence, right? And of course it's HBO, right? So you know, when the season done, you can look back at it and be like, oh, you know, they referred to all these little things, they mentioned all these things, so, you know, and I didn't notice, right?
Right.
You know, very much like just like any like normal, like any contemporary HBO show, right? Like say House of the Dragon or Last of Us, right? Something like that. Now, no, that's what we're gonna get with this. But yeah, I mean, again, this is it's the best of HBO meets the best of DC. Yeah, it just come
Right.
together into this nice, neat combo, man. And yeah, I just really can't wait to see what we get next with the other episodes. But yeah, of course, you know, when the full season drops, when the full season ends, yeah, you know, we will touch on that season. But yeah, off to a fantastic start. It's off to a great start.